G'day and welcome again to our place. This week I've been thinking about hope, probably because the second reading for this coming Sunday mentions the word hope. St. Paul writes, "We do not want you to be uninformed, brothers and sisters, about those who have died, so that you may not grieve as others do who have no hope. For since we believe that Jesus died and rose again, even so, through Jesus, God will bring with him those who have died. Therefore, encourage one another with these words." In Romans 5, Paul also tells us that hope does not disappoint us. And yet I guess for many people, hope does disappoint us. I hoped that Port Power might have got into the grand final and then won. Didn't happen. I hoped that this morning it would be nice and dry so that I could go for a walk, but it was drizzly. Many of us hope for many things. It's sort of characterized by the phrase, "I sure hope so." I sure hope that I don't get sick. I sure hope that I can get a promotion at work, or I can pass an exam, or whatever else it may be that I would like to have or experience in my life. Now, of course, it doesn't mean that we're always completely helpless. Sometimes we can do things to influence it. If we eat well, exercise and so forth, we are less likely to get sick, but we can't guarantee that we don't. And so hope is something that seems quite nebulous, something that doesn't mean a lot to a lot of people. It's about the same as saying, "I hope I win the lottery." Yes, I hope I might win the lottery. Well, I don't, because I don't tend to buy tickets, but we might hope something like that, but there's absolutely no guarantee at all. And so why can St. Paul say that hope doesn't disappoint us? Why can he say we shouldn't grieve as those who have no hope? Because Paul is using the word hope here not as something we do, but as something we're given. It's a hope. It's a thing. It's something that we receive as a gift, not something that we psych ourselves into or somehow achieve for ourselves. Paul says that we have this hope. And when he says that, he doesn't mean that it's somehow uncertain, that it might happen or it mightn't happen, but simply that it still lies in the future. We haven't reached there yet. And so it's still a hope. It's something that's ahead of us, not something that we already experience. And so in Christian circles, hope is often looked upon or illustrated as an anchor, as something that anchors us in life. So even when things go wrong, even when things don't go the way we had hoped for, but we suffer illness or we suffer loss in some other way, or the plans that we have simply don't come to fruition, even in situations when we feel completely helpless and there's nothing we can really do at the end of the day, even in those situations, we still have this hope. You may not have experienced a time in your life where even praying seemed impossible for you, and you had to rely on the prayers of the rest of the church during that time. Or you may have experienced a time when you just felt absolutely powerless, when you felt that there was nothing you could do. Circumstances had simply overtaken you. You were helpless in that situation. In the end of our lives, that's the experience of all of us. We may be able to delay death, but we can't avoid it. We may be able to do things that increase our health and not take risks and so forth. But at the end of the day, death will come to us all. And so that's why Paul says He doesn't want us to be uninformed about those who have died, so that we may not grieve as others do who have no hope. We have this hope because, as Paul says, we believe that Jesus died and rose again, and so through Jesus, God will bring with him those who have died. And then at the end of that section, he says to us, therefore encourage one another with these words. That hope doesn't disappoint us. That hope is the anchor of our lives that allows us to walk through even the darkest and most difficult days, relying not on ourselves, but on what God has done for us in Jesus. That's a hope that truly goes with us through life. It isn't something that we have to try to achieve. It isn't something that we have to do for ourselves. It is something that's given to us as a gift. And so even when things go wrong, even when we find that our plans are not fulfilled, we're disappointed, we see no future, we see no way out, even in days like that, our hope still does not disappoint us. We may be helpless, but we have a hope, and that hope is there even for us when we feel helpless. Thank you, and God bless you this week.